Case 1. Dye versus Dickerson. When love turns into loans, our first case takes us into the complicated world of money and relationships. Janet Dye came to court claiming her ex-boyfriend, Jimmy Dickerson, owed her thousands of dollars in unpaid loans. According to Janet, she gave him money for probation fees, to repair cars, to buy new clothes for a job interview, and even for a cell phone deposit. Each time, she believed it was a loan. Each time, Jimmy promised to pay her back. But when it was Jimmy's turn to speak, his story was very different. He admitted Janet gave him money but said it wasn't about loans. Instead, he claimed she gave him money because she wanted to keep him around, to control him, and to make sure he stayed with her. In his eyes, they weren't loans at all, just gifts. Judge Judy listened carefully but wasn't impressed with either side. She pointed out that Jimmy was clearly using Janet, taking money without ever intending to pay it back. But at the same time, Judy scolded Janet for repeatedly handing over money without written agreements or proof. To Judge Judy, it looked less like a business deal and more like someone desperately trying to buy love. In the end, Judy dismissed most of Janet's claims. Jimmy's counterclaim, that Janet harassed him, was also thrown out. The lesson? In Judy's courtroom, if you're lending money to a partner, you'd better have proof. Otherwise, it looks like a gift. Case 2. Kirkland versus Polson. A mother's lesson in responsibility. The second case is a battle between mother and daughter. Linda Kirkland sued her 19-year-old daughter, Laura Polson, for unpaid car debt. Linda had co-signed and paid for Laura's Honda, and after the car was totaled, Linda was left with more than $5,000 in debt. Linda explained that she was trying to help her daughter get on her feet, but instead she got stuck paying everything. Laura, on the other hand, insisted her mother told her she didn't have to pay until she was financially stable. She pointed to her divorce, her unstable work history, and other debts as reasons she hadn't kept up with payments. But Judge Judy wasn't having it. She tore into Laura for her irresponsibility. Judy pointed out that Laura had boyfriends, spent money elsewhere, and racked up tickets, but still expected her mother to shoulder the debt. The fact that the car was wrecked only made the situation worse. Judy made it clear, when you take on a financial responsibility, excuses don't matter. Divorce or no divorce, unstable work or not, you're still responsible for the debt you create. In the end, Judge Judy ruled in favor of Linda, awarding her the maximum $5,000 the court allows. A tough lesson for a young adult who thought her mother would always clean up the mess. Case 3. Rodriguez versus Taylor. The lemon car dispute. Next up, we have a case about a used car sale gone wrong. Fernando Rodriguez sold Tracy Taylor a 1979 Chevy Malibu for $2,000. Tracy made a $600 down payment, with the rest to be paid later. But almost immediately after taking the car, she noticed problems. The blinkers didn't work. The upholstery was tacked together. The roof sagged. It looked like a car being held together by tape and hope. So, within a day, Tracy returned the car and called Fernando, asking for her $600 back. According to her, he agreed to return the money. But then, he changed his mind. Rodriguez came to court demanding the full $2,000 plus damages. He accused Tracy of breaching the deal. But Judge Judy wasn't buying it. She called him a slick character, pointing out that he couldn't keep both the car and her. $600. Judy also scolded Tracy for being naive enough to pay $2,000 for a 25-year-old car without checking it properly first. Still, the key fact was simple. Tracy returned the car right away, and Fernando promised to return her money. A promise is a promise. In the end, Judy dismissed Fernando's claim and ordered him to return Tracy's $600 deposit. Case 4. McCormick versus Havens. The ex-con boyfriend. Our fourth case is another messy relationship drama. Sherry McCormick sued her ex-boyfriend, Jason Havens, for a series of loans. She explained that Jason had just gotten out of prison for burglary and robbery, and soon after, he moved in with her. She gave him money to pay gambling debts, to support his daughter, and for daily expenses. In her mind, these were loans. Jason admitted she gave him money, but he argued they weren't loans at all. They were gifts. According to him, Sherry was supporting him out of affection, not business. Judge Judy's reaction was sharp. She criticized Sherry for letting an ex-con move in so quickly, especially with her daughter in the house. Judy reminded her that bringing chaos into her home was her choice. But beyond the scolding, Judy had to decide, were these real loans or simply money handed over to keep the relationship afloat? Case 5, McCormick v. Havens, continued. Gifts or loans? As the testimony continued, it became clear that much of the money Sherry gave Jason came in small amounts, $10 here, $20 there. Judge Judy was not convinced those could ever be treated as loans. In her view, those kinds of handouts looked more like gifts, especially in the context of a romantic relationship. But there was one larger payment that stood out, $250 to pay off Jason's gambling debts. Judy zeroed in on this amount. A specific payment for a specific purpose, backed by Jason's promise to repay, looked more like a legitimate loan. Judge Judy's likely ruling was to award Sherry the $250, but dismiss the rest as gifts. Once again, Judy delivered a tough message. If you're handing out money in a relationship without paperwork, don't expect to get it back.